to hold the rest of your calls to the top of the hour because we just got a hold of Joe Wolverton with The New American. Featured contributor there. His articles on the Constitution, states' rights, NDAA, drones, surveillance state have appeared in national, international publications, including LouRockwell.com, Ron Paul Forums, the 10th Amendment Center, our site, InfoWars, Guardian, and Business Insider. And, of course, he's got an article up today about the UN Arms Trade Treaty. It's something that I've been following for a long time. Thank you for joining us, Joe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Lay out for people what the real problem with the UN Arms Trade Treaty is, and then we can talk about how they're trying to push this on us and the constitutional issues. But talk about the substance of it right now.
The substance of it is it requires the registration of all ammunition, arms, and component parts. It gives control over those to regional departments of the United Nations. It requires member states, meaning the United States included, to keep a list of gun owners. It empowers the United Nations to send troops in to enforce disarmament should any member state find it difficult to disarm its citizens. It requires tracking to the end user of the by the manufacturer of any firearm, ammunition, or component part. And at the end of the day, it will lead to the complete disarmament of the civilian population.
Yeah, this is full spectrum gun control. They're not looking at something and saying, well, we're going to ban guns that we think we're going to call them assault weapons and say that they look scary. So, if you've got a bayonet attachment on the end, we're going to ban that. No, it's not piecemeal like that. It is everything. Denying the right to own guns, taking out ammunition, taking out spare parts, as you point out, creating this massive registry and demanding that no one can own anything associated with a firearm.
Right, and under Article 16 of the Arms Trade Treaty, it does empower the Secretary General to deploy peacekeepers to any nation whose leaders or legislators.
You heard that, folks?
Difficult to disarm.
Get ready, because it's coming.
Article 16, and it will help that leader or that nation with what it calls stockpile management, disarmament, and demobilization.
Arm stockpile on ammunition as much as you can.
You think it should be interpreted?
The
Because
way
it's
to
coming.
interpret that is Lexington and Concord, because they went after the stockpiles there. What's that?
Yeah, you're the first one. You're the first one who's really caught on to that. When the bullets started flying at the War for Independence, it was because King George's troops were coming for the ammunition.
Man, yeah, absolutely. This is full spectrum. Now let's talk about how they have manipulated this thing from the very beginning, because they had come up, and we know, even the New York Times pointed out, that Fast and Furious was set up to blame the Second Amendment. And, of course, a key part of Fast and Furious was to move guns across the border. And so that's exactly what this purports to take care of. That is the rationale for having to have a UN arms trade treaty, because it's not enough that we just have this problem as they perceive it in America where individuals can own guns. No, our guns are going across the border to other people. So that was a set piece. That was something that was set up to basically get the public afraid of this, to demonstrate the need for it. And it blew up in their face. I was there in July in New York at the United Nations. We were filming that. We were reporting on that. And they had the people there. It had just blown up about this officer getting killed. And people had realized what was going on with Fast and Furious. So that blew up in their face. And then, of course, they have the shooting that was perfectly timed just as they were about to have the vote. So they delayed all of that until after the election, they said. They didn't wait very long. On the very day of the election, as soon as they saw that the Democrats were going to be picking up seats, they said, we're going to revisit this back in the spring after the Democrats are in Congress. And, of course, Joe, they didn't get that ratified by the Senate. Nevertheless, John Kerry, Secretary of State, signed it. So talk to us about the constitutionality of all of that.
Well, I mean, the constitutionality is there